Before we begin, it's important to say this clearly. Everything in this video is a fan theory. Nothing here is official, confirmed, or legit. This is a symbolism and psychological reinterpretation of Rugrats, created for discussion, analyzing, and storytelling. We are not claiming hidden canon, secret messages, or real-world intent. We are exploring metaphor, the way stories can be read differently as we grow older. Rugrats looks like a cartoon about babies. Bright colors, plastic toys, playpens, and diapers. But that's only what it looks like on the surface. Because when you really watch Rugrats, not as a child, but as an adult, something feels off. The babies speak in full sentences. They understand danger. They form plans and they argue about mortality. And one child stands above them all, watching, narrating, controlling. Her name is Angelica Pickles, and tonight we're not asking what happens in Rugrats. We're asking who is really telling the story. Childhood media is strange. When we're kids, cartoons feel simple. But when we revisit them later, we notice patterns we didn't have words for before. Because children don't experience the world logically, they experience it emotionally. Rules feel abrasive, adults feel overwhelming, time feels distorted, fear feels enormous. So children interpret reality not to deceive themselves, but to survive it. And that's where imagination comes in. Imagination isn't just play, it's structure, it's meaning, it's how the mind organizes chaos. Rugrats, at its core, it's a show about perception, not what is happening, but how it feels to a child. And in this theory, there is only one child whose perception shapes everything: Angelica. Angelica Pickles is often remembered as the antagonist of Rugrats. Bossy, loud, manipulative. But what if that's not the full picture? What if Angelica isn't a villain, but a narrator? She's older than the babies. She understands more than they do, but she's still not an adult. She exists in a limited space, too old for the playpen, too young for control, and the children who exist in that space often feel powerless. Angelica doesn't command the babies because she enjoys cruelty. She commands them because control is the only language she has. When adults ignore her, she creates an audience. When the world feels unpredictable, she creates rules. When emotion feels too big, she gives them faces. In this theory, Angelica doesn't imagine the babies for fun. She imagines them for order. How exaggerated everything feels in Rugrats. Adults shout from off-screen. Objects become obsolete. Rooms feel enormous. Danger feels constant. That's not realism. That's memory. That's how childhood felt. In Angelica's mind, adults are forces, not people. They interrupt. They impose rules. They don't explain themselves. So she reshapes the world into something she can understand. And at the center of that world are the babies. Children don't analyze emotions. They externalize them. Fear becomes a monster. Bravery becomes a hero. Indecision becomes two voices arguing in your head. Angelica doesn't process emotions internally. She builds them externally. Each baby becomes a structure, a way to hold a feeling without being overwhelmed by it. It isn't fantasy escaping reality, it's a fantasy organizing reality. Angelica's imagination is not chaos, it is architect. Before there were babies, there were feelings. Before there were adventures, there was confusion. And before there was control, there was fear of losing it. Angelica doesn't invent the babies to escape the world. She invented them to understand it. And in part two, we're going to look closely at those babies, not as characters, but as emotions given form. Because if Angelica is the mind, then the babies are the thoughts.